Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us and IndyWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you got to do, make it last. Wait for the perfect.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 911. That's going to come into the ring and destroy everything. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on Twitter here in these Twitter. What the fuck? On all the social medias here in the Sorgatron Media Studio in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am here. I am fresh off of Dollywood, and I wore a SummerSlam Tribal Combat shirt, and they loved my shirt when I was getting on the Iron Eagle. Anyways, we're going to have some fun here. We're going to catch up. This is a big pay-per-view weekend. We have so many guests lined up for June already. The next 3 weeks are booked solid with at least three people that have never been on the show before. So very, very excited about that. We will talk about that later in the show. But first of all, I did not set up the Zoom right, so we're going to fix that real quick. But we have with us from often contributed to this show, as well as over on the awesome cast of the iPhoneography podcast. It is Dave Podnar.
Glad to be on, Sorg. Glad to be on. Like you said, you want wrestling? You got wrestling.
Oh, so much wrestling. Memorial Day seems like a Memorial Day tradition here. So to have too much wrestling at this point. And also with us straight from the Pacific Northwest in the greater Seattle area is, oh no, this monitor just went out. Okay, don't touch that again. Tina Keys is with us.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for dropping in.
You're welcome. Always coming in on as a pinch hitter.
Absolutely, absolutely. I need, I call up Tina when I need somebody to gush over the Pacific Northwest wrestlers and what they're doing these days.
The wrestlers out here, the wrestling scene out here in general. We were just talking about some shows coming up too.
A lot of good stuff happening there. A lot of good stuff happening here in Pittsburgh. Wrestling is beautiful right now. But this is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, and let's get into it. Do we start with AEW or WWE this week? Let's do WWE, because we had a Raw last night. We had some stuff. I have a question, because I didn't get this clarified, because I saw the pictures, and I watched Raw on DVR. Did everybody get Raw cut off before the Dominic kiss with Liv?
Yes.
Okay, nobody saw that live. We just saw it on social media afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Okay. All right. I love this. The kiss happened. We see a picture, and then we see a response from Dominic of like a meme that says, "Oh fuck." So this is going to be fun. I love that Dominic just kept screwing up all weekend long. Accidentally gave Liv the championship. Accidentally screwed Becky again out of the cage match. Dominic is in so much trouble. I really hope Rhea is not on the shelf too much longer for this, because I don't know how much further we can go with this at this point.
Oh, come on. We can go a long way on this. We really could go a long, long way on this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have the whole Dom acting, just completely. First of all, you're going to have the next week. You're going to have them going up to Dom and saying, "Look, you said you had it taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
You said, have you talking to Rhea? Man, I haven't talked to mommy since then. Man, I'm scared to talk to her. I know this is going to go on to SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it's going to go on SummerSlam, and I am half expecting it to be, he messed up, air quotes, that, remember we've been seeing these little hints with Rhea coming out of the car with Finn
Liv
last week, and other things happening where she's talking to people in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw her talking with we saw Liv talking with JD just last night before he got chased off by Strowman.
Yeah. And they actually mentioned that on the show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that hidden. That one wasn't that hidden. That was I mean, so I mean, if you're going to make Rhea face, this is the easiest way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have her when she's out injured, have her screwed out of her position and her title.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then make Priest a face, I guess.
Yeah, because that's the wild card or odd factor in this. Where
Yeah.
does Damian fit into all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he considering he might or might not have a championship come after the next PLE, we don't know.
I don't see Drew coming out of that with the belt.
No.
I do not. I see him getting screwed yet again because he's still. Because what did he do the other day? He was still talking about CM Punk despite he was facing off for a championship, right?
But are they actually going to risk that with an angry ass Scottish crowd though? You got to remember that's in Drew's territory in Glasgow.
Mm-hmm. I know he gave us the geography lesson, didn't he? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they do, and it sets up him and Punk for SummerSlam. I guess that seems to make sense.
Yeah, but you also coming to what we should probably talk about is what happened this past Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a new King of the Ring waiting in the rings for SummerSlam. So there's so many different factors.
Have we determined? Are they? Do they have? Is it like Rumble where they have a choice of champions, or are they gunning for the champion of their show?
Of their show.
So
of their show. Yep.
Yeah, Triple H expressly mentioned that on the press event this last Thursday that it was for their respective brands.
So Gunther against the Raw women world champion,
the world heavyweight champion,
which is now
and then
Damian.
Nia will go against the women's world champion
Bailey or her successor. Basically,
would
say Damian or his successor, Bailey or her successor in the next couple of months because they have pretty big shows coming up. Like
I can see Bailey holding on to it though.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Bailey, like you said.
I can see either of them, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I see. I like Tina said, I could definitely see Drew, losing in a Punk screw job.
Mm-hmm.
But not something where it's still Drew's fault.
So here's the other thing. I know I kind of said the obvious thing was Drew and Punk until you told me how completely wrong I am because I didn't think about that. But you could still have Drew and Punk without a belt, right?
Oh yeah,
it's actually better that Punk's not involved in the title.
Oh no,
yeah. And that's a high profile. So that's I mean, which again leads me to Drew ain't leaving Scotland with that belt. There's no way he's leaving. Man, I think they get the heat. I think Sammy didn't leave Montreal with the belt. So
yeah.
I think he's going to be almost there. Maybe we get a dusty finish. Punk gets involved. Either way, it's going to be another story of Punk or Drew is more interested in everything except for the championship. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though he's in the main event, top spot on the poster in the hometown, and still he can't stop talking about CM Punk.
That is true. And I think that would be the icing on the cake right there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that's
and like I said, I could see Punk not even getting physically involved.
Mm-hmm.
Something as simple as Punk's music hits, and Drew just starts losing it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And that loses.
But also on the same time, too, like Punk got pretty physically involved at WrestleMania, as we saw.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when did he get injured? Royal Rumble?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
that was
Rumble.
That was like 4 months ago, not even. So if it's like SummerSlam, Clash at the Castle, Punk's been pretty quiet recently.
Mm-hmm. And Drew's still talking about him, isn't he?
Drew's still talking. It's going to be interesting to see when Punk pops up.
Mm-hmm.
And see how far along he is in his injury, and his recovery in regards to that.
So let's talk about the PLE that was this weekend. They're down in Saudi. It was the King and Queen of the Ring. Cool to see this concept back again. Actually, I loved that it wasn't as big of an arena because somebody was like, this really felt like different and bigger and louder than it typically was. They seemed more into it. I think it was because they weren't in a stadium, like a classic stadium. They were in this kind of dome situation. It was still huge.
Yeah, no, it's always at least this is always the arena that they've always been in, at least for the past couple of years.
Oh, was it?
For the past Saudi ones.
Now, I think the big difference, I remember the first one I watched in studio with you, Sorg, and the people, they were at tables at ringside, and it was like the Saudi princes and the rich people.
They had like comfy chairs, like the Dolby Theater has.
And they were there because it was an event.
Well,
remember,
it was also in the capital the first time around because it was in Riyadh. This time, like the past couple of times, it was in Jeddah.
So yeah, I mean, you actually have wrestling fans and people who really want to be there now.
It did feel like the
others,
the common people, the fans were there, and it was
common.
Well, okay, the more common people. Like I don't know how the social and economical situation in Saudi Arabia is. I'm sure that's a whole thing. Just for comparison, this was a 35,000 to 40,000 seat stadium, typically, according to their Wikipedia page. So again, like, it was still a pretty good size, but maybe it was the dome. Maybe it didn't seem as big as our Superdome, our the New Orleans Superdome or something like that.
Oh, it isn't. No, it's not as big as that, but it's bigger than your average hockey arena, but smaller than your football stadium. So it's kind of like a Major League Baseball stadium or small Major League Baseball. Yeah, I
didn't get to watch it. I just saw clips from it just because of timing. But I loved that they did SmackDown there. I love that they're doing SmackDown at these on the road in these places. Because, man, when you're watching, if you're flipping through and they put they put where they're at in the corner. Right, like we're in whatever France, we're in Lyon, France, we're in Saudi Arabia. Like that makes it. If you're just flipping through channels, you're just like, wow, okay, like that goes. I'm still just blown away by people are like, oh, is wrestling still? Are people still watching wrestling? And I was like, yeah, like my Uber driver in LA is asking me this question. And I was like, yeah, man, we're about to fill your big stadium over there, so I think some people are watching.
Yeah.
So
and they're not before they were actually in a way hiding that they were in Saudi Arabia as best they could. Now, remember, for a couple of years they were kind of like, we're going to the, when they had the Greatest Rumble and the Super Show, and they didn't really mention Saudi that much. And now it's kind of. We can mention Saudi because of political reasons.
It's lightened up a little bit. They're not as much heat as they have been. I mean, I'm sure there are still issues. Hey, just to follow up there, because you had mentioned, just to close the loop on this, the Jeddah Superdome was used for Elimination Chamber 22 and Night of the Champions 23. So you're right on that. I think those have been typically their winter to the spring events, because Elimination Chamber would have been in February, right? So that's and what we probably do, we do Riyadh for like the Crown Jewel fall event typically, right? Okay.
Usually, and I was about to say, and then King and Queen of the Ring was what you were mentioning, the previous Night of Champions to crown the new World Heavyweight title.
Yes. And I feel like there was a King of the Ring that happened on one of those shows too. Like,
yes,
did it end out there?
Last year.
Last one?
Yeah.
Or no, it was 2 years ago.
I felt it was 2 years ago.
I thought it was last because that's where
Xavier got crowned, but that was 2 years ago. So because their successor was Night of Champions for the new title.
Okay.
I'm looking up the history right now. So again, Podnar, you watched that pay-per-view. What was your vibe? Obviously, the crowd was insane. I loved it. Sammy coming out was crazy. I'm loving the homecoming. Him being able to do these shows now. Like, what was your general vibe of that show?
And the winners of the King and the Queen were kind of expected. Just because Lyra is so new. And I can see Nia just being so wonderfully annoying as queen. And the other thing to notice is that she put she had Triple H put on the crown. Gunther held the crown.
Mm-hmm.
On Raw last night, he held the crown. He never put it on.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have a robe.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have a scepter. He's not putting on a goofy accent.
But man, I don't think he needs to. I think that's
no.
the point.
What I'm saying is, I'm saying that's a good thing
Yeah.
because, but I can see Nia doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Nia having, a flowing robe maybe, and maybe a queen's court, and maybe even putting on a really put on northeastern British accent. Badly done.
Wonderfully badly done, I hope.
Wonderfully badly done, exactly. The other thing I noticed, if all the women, of course, had to be covered from head to toe.
Yeah.
But that didn't mean, like, if you remember the first time the women went there, they were covered head to toe, but they wore, like, really loose shirts to hide. No, there was no loose here. That pre-show, that pre-match.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could see Jade's abs through her outfit.
That is true. They've actually, and I think that's the good progressive. I don't want to use that. I guess that would be the right term for it. Where that's been the case where they can show their individuality rather than just having big shirts.
Yeah, black, basically black tights and either red or blue shirts over top.
Yeah,
I was going to say, and what kind of at least got that started, and I'm throwing out my geek hat over here, fashion geek hat over here. When they first had the first women match not even in Saudi Arabia, but in Dubai with Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks, where they showed their individuality,
No, for what obviously this is a political propaganda kind of thing. I mean, put that aside, but almost any of this is. You go to Philadelphia, and you're going to tell you how great Philadelphia is. I can tell you different. So I mean, that's kind of the point of it, is to show off the town for the town's sake. In this case, it would be Saudi Arabia and making Saudi Arabia look good for everybody else around the world. So put that aside. But I think it is good. For whatever that is, even if it's a propagandist thing, the fact that they are doing so much women positive things with these shows when WWE goes there. They talked about some of the other panelists and panels they were on with some other, I guess, Saudi Arabian female sports stars. You had, I think, both of the female referees were I know Jessica Carr was a part of one, and I think the other ones, I keep forgetting the other one's name.
Daphne.
Daphne, thank you. And I've only lashed on Jessica because she's a friend of the show. Even watching that show and be like, oh, the pre-show is the tag match. Oh, the first match is the women's title match. Like, it was like, and we got the Sami Zayn, and I was sitting there watching him, missing him. It's like, this is the first men's match of this card in Saudi Arabia. That's incredible. In comparison to where they were. Like, you can watch those shows if you go back on the Peacock and see the progression with, as you said, wardrobe, as in number of because I remember, was it the first couple? They're like, well, all the women are staying home. Here we go to Saudi Arabia, guys. Yeah. So I think that's a really good progression that you can see, and hopefully that's a good influence. Even if it's maybe progressively. As a country, it's not supposedly actually going forward that we're seeing on TV. Some little girl is sitting there in Saudi Arabia and saying, I can do this too. That's the most, to me, that's the most important thing.
Oh, yeah. And if you looked on Chelsea Green's either TikTok or Instagram, she went to in another city, but they had a WWE experience. And she showed herself, getting ready and going out and doing a meet and greet with people and a WWE experience. It's like, okay, so it wasn't just the two women who were wrestling like on the first one. You brought over a lot of women.
Also, remember they had SmackDown. I don't know how many of them were involved in SmackDown the night before. So you saw
Yeah.
everybody sitting in the
Yeah.
crowd. Like it wasn't just we brought just everybody for the show, right?
Yeah.
So,
They brought Tiffany was in the crowd.
Yeah.
Tiffany was in the crowd. I think what was it? What
Yeah.
else? Bailey and Chelsea was the match on SmackDown beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's nice because, and again, not seeing Friday night show, but you did get to round that out and have more opportunities like that, and have more women on the crowd, have more this and that and the other. Just not the one member of the bloodline because he was not vetoable. So the other Girl of Destiny did not make it, was not allowed into Saudi Arabia for some reason, and I'm kind of curious about that. But anyways, hey, but also he just got hired with the company, so it may be a thing there. So I don't know.
Well, also, I mean, if you count the pre-show, 3 out of the 6 matches were women.
Yeah,
were women matches.
Yeah, I think you absolutely can. I think you can absolutely count that. So, but yeah. So, Tina, is this breaking news that you have in the
That
chat
is
room
breaking.
here?
That is breaking.
I
Or at least a couple,
saw. Yeah, I
couple
saw
minutes
that.
ago.
I saw that, and it's like, I don't know the performer.
Okay.
You don't know her?
Okay, fill us in. We don't do NXT. Like, go ahead. NXT's live. Tell us what happened.
Okay, so sorry. So it was just announced who Roxanne Perez's next contender is for NXT Battleground.
Mm-hmm.
TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace.
Woo!
Oh, okay. No. I know her. No.
Okay.
I thought they were going to announce it was. Is it Sexy Red?
No, that's the R&B. No, that's not the R&B.
What?
No, that's what threw me off. I'm like,
Okay, no.
because I thought someone posed, "Oh, she's coming after because she was holding the belt and twerking in the ring." I'm like, did they throw another celebrity in? I mean, we have Logan Paul with the shot of the night on Saturday.
Oh
that
my God.
360 drone view.
Listen,
Can we get more of those, please?
Let's hold that.
With drinking the water.
Hold
With
that for
drinking
1
the
second.
water.
Let me do a little bit of business. I want to gush over that shot, and I have an NXT question for you guys to answer real quick. But in the meantime, thank you everybody that does support the show. As long as you guys are up for staying up for a little bit longer, we're going to return the Patreon this week, since it was a lot of travel in May. Of course, it was really crazy. We didn't have a show last week. Sorry for that. But there's only so much time in the day, and I'm running out of it. But thank you everybody that does support the show. We do appreciate you sticking with us here. Everybody that is involved at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show, including Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Team Hammerfist and the Tupac family at the popular level. Dave Podnar, spouse of Rooster Earlier Affair at roosteraffair.com, and Wrestling Trench Coat Tony Kincaid at the Pizza Club level. Doc Remedy, The Riz, and Lance Fisher at the manager level. Bradley, who hung out with us the other night, watched the AEW pay-per-view, which we will be talking about AEW here. We're going to be talking about Fire. We're going to be talking about car accidents and all the likes, and maybe some wrestling too. But anyways, thank you everybody that's supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. And if you are interested in an internship, work with the Mayhem. We could use some help doing those clippies and everything, figuring out the show, figuring out the best parts of the show, and getting them in front of more people. If you're interested in social media, video editing, and the like, and learning a few tricks along the way, you never know where you can go with that. People have worked with us on people have worked on this show that have gotten jobs in media. So there's some history there. If you're interested, hit me up at the email address goodtimes. Well, it's been a while.
Good times.
Thank you at WrestlingMayhemShow.com or Mike at SidekickMediaService.com. We don't have a jingle for that one if you are interested. Anyways, so first question before I gush over video production at WWE a little bit. I have not watched much NXT and actually just started the first episode and a half. I somehow because of my travel schedule, because I've basically been on the road since WrestleMania. I have not watched any Ring of Honor, except I finally watched like an episode and a half like a week ago. 2 weeks ago. Shit. I have not watched any NXT since WrestleMania. Should I catch up on NXT? Is it worthwhile? Or should I just pick up here?
To be honest, I think you should just pick up here.
Okay.
I think because of how they're holding NXT Battleground as a new concept. It'll be kind of exciting, kind of a fresh way to look at it and see where they go from here, and especially with what we were just talking about just a few seconds ago. It'd be something kind of new and exciting to check out in regards to NXT, maybe, and see how they progress from here.
Maybe, well, I feel like I'm getting back to a normal-ish schedule now for the rest of the summer. We'll see. Spring's always bad for me. You guys know that. And actually, I'm usually gone for 3 weeks in June, so this is actually kind of nice that I'm around. Usually it's next week I'm in a hotel room doing this show. So, and that happened earlier this year. But anyways, I'm going to get back to that. So we'll pick up on this week. I'll try to catch the show when it's on the Peacock on Thursday, and go from there. Ring of Honor. I don't know. I need to see what Dalton Castle is up to from week to week. But two production notes. One, Jimmy Jacobs in the pyro. Did you see this?
Great. That was great. That was great.
I just, if you didn't see, I don't know how you didn't if you're on the socials. He comes out for his match at Ring of Honor apparently this week, and they let off like Cody Rhodes level pyro at AEW. It just kept going, and they kept cutting back to it. I think I don't know. It had to have been a rip. It had to have been something.
It had to be, because he didn't. It looks like he didn't know about it, and it was like hilarious to see like his genuine reaction to it.
There's definitely that "you son of a bitch" kind of look to it, right? Find the clip. It's amazing. Or sign up for Honor Club. I don't know. And then second of all, the Logan Paul drone shot for his jump off the top rope. Which I know we hate giving positive vibes to Logan Paul, but apparently it was his idea.
It was.
So
yeah.
Damn it, he's good. He's good. Listen. I think you can appreciate people for their performances, regardless of their personal deal. And it's a show, and but damn it, that drone shot was amazing.
Yeah.
It circled him. If you didn't see this, he's on the top rope, ready to jump on Cody's on the table, I think. And they'd circle him. He drink like a prime drink or something like that.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
It's incredible. My God.
And I think, doesn't he do a spit, a Triple H spit also?
I think he does.
I don't remember, but I think he probably did. Oh gosh, what's his face's name? I feel bad for saying that. Mike Rome had actually had a cool shot going, at least a cool photograph going of as the drone was coming through. Yeah.
I'm watching it.
That would be a cool thing to see.
I'm watching it again.
Yeah.
And you saw the drone earlier in the night, because I knew it was coming, because I watched it the next day. Yeah, he gets up there. It's going around him. He's got a prime drink in his hand. I don't dare show this footage because they'll take us down. Takes a drink, throws it into the crowd, sprays it in the air, jumps, bam, frog splash through the table. Perfect freaking frog splash, by the way. Holy crap.
Not only is he good at the performance aspect of wrestling and has a mind for that, he's a good wrestler physically.
Absolutely.
And you hate him for it because he's an asshole.
Nobody in his position, in who was it? Bad Bunny, okay?
Oh yeah,
you can say, have no right to be as good as they are. Do not need to do this. The Rock does not need to do this. He doesn't need to get bounced around and bumped at WrestleMania. No way. These guys have plenty of ways to be making their money. You don't do wrestling unless you love it. And if you do it and don't love it, it kind of shows sooner or later. We've seen that a couple of times over the last few years, right? We say, well, what about Brock Lesnar? Well, Brock Lesnar, what else is Brock Lesnar going to do for money? Let's be honest about this.
Well, other than
punch people in the face.
But I'll also say this. They don't ask, I hate to say they don't ask much of Brock Lesnar, but if you're getting a Brock Lesnar match, you're getting a Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah.
And the man is still a genetic and
absolutely.
I don't want to say enhanced freak because I don't want to make accusations.
No.
But can pop my head like a pimple. But
But like
Yeah,
Bad Bunny is like a multi-platinum artist.
yeah.
Has
Yeah.
whatever shoe, TV, whatever lines he's got going on as an artist. Logan Paul, as God knows what Logan Paul does with his brand, has a drink line and all this stuff. The Rock has The Rock, is doing. He has all of his endeavors.
The Rock has a movie where he's looking like Ken Shamrock.
Exactly.
Right.
You see that thing? I saw him doing the MMA training. I'm like, my God, dude! And then found out he's doing an MMA, I guess a documentary movie, right? Or not a biopic. Excuse me.
Also doing wrestling documentaries.
Yeah.
Let's see, running arena football leagues.
Yeah. With his ex-wife, which is also insane. It just. He doesn't need to be at WrestleMania at all. He doesn't need to be on the board of WWE at all. But he's here because it is his history. So, but again, and then Logan Paul, you can't say enough good things about what they've done for WWE by elevating it too.
Certainly, especially with Logan Paul, I'll go ahead and say this. That kind of brings in that. How can I put this? I would say kind of like younger crowd. I'm not even saying saying like 18 to 34. I'm gonna say about as young as my nephew, about 12, from that 12 to like maybe junior's age of like 17, 18, 16 to 18, that like that tween teenage crowd, because of how he is on YouTube. Or even that younger, even that little bit older Gen Z generation too. So,
absolutely. So that's incredible. But
and about the match, okay, near the end, when Logan Paul yells at, I'm assuming he's yelling at Michael Cole.
He was because
who?
Yeah, he was yelling at Michael.
Who the hell are you? Yeah, and he turns around to hit Cody, and Cody says, "I'm Cody Rhodes, bitch." And gives him the 3 crossroads. That was beautiful.
So when the whole brass knuckle thing, and when Michael was going off on Cody and not going off on Logan, and Corey had to step in for a split second there. Between Corey and Logan, I automatically thought somebody was going to swing.
It was a good heated moment. It was a really good heated moment there. So that was a really good show. They're just knocking everything out of the park right now. And we'll see where they go from there. For I guess we have Clash in the Castle next out in Scotland. That's going to be June 15th. I'll be watching that on delay because I know I'm pretty busy that weekend. Hell.
And then I think after that's Money in the Bank in Toronto.
Then we're looking at Cleveland. So we'll be looking at those tickets very soon because I have not gotten mine secured yet. So
more WWE stuff. And speaking of SummerSlam,
there
was a SummerSlam announcement for 2026.
Yeah. Which I'm shocked it's 26. Unless, like a lot of people are saying, they're going to come out and say Mania 26 is in London. And so you get that way you get a 2-night event in the US.
You're not priming. And also this is okay, there's a couple things. Because one, you're shifting SummerSlam. You're already kind of seeing this because remember they upgraded SummerSlam a few years ago to being these stadium shows, right? Which is like, that's becoming like what WrestleMania used to be. To it's becoming a 2-night event. It was like we have a second WrestleMania, right? And again, they're not doing it unless they think they can fill that thing. So like this is a calculated adjustment. And you're starting to see that. They just combined, which meant a lot of layoffs, the event division of UFC and WWE. I don't know if you noticed, but I know my WWE email list, I've been getting ads for UFC, and we saw ads for UFC on the last pay-per-view. So it is happening. If you don't like things that UFC does, well, I got a nice little channel on nice little television show on TNT for you to watch instead.
As well too, NXT Battlegrounds in the
UFC thing. Yeah.
UFC
They're-
Apex Arena.
They're building. They're building. Yeah.
Yep.
In Vegas,
So that's a very interesting. They're captain planning the shit out of this. You're going to see more. Obviously, actually, they advertised another UFC show in Saudi Arabia. They were already doing this. So, I mean, which also lends to this is the perfect marriage, right? As long as WWE can keep everybody interested in the storylines they're doing, right? They're going to keep printing money with this stuff and with the new strategies and with the business minds. And we are having a side conversation about, man, like Vince is a visionary, and you cannot, regardless of all the stuff going on, Vince got us here. And maybe things lagged the last 15 years or so because, stuck in old ways, couldn't see the forest from the trees situation. But now you got people in position that are like, okay, we got this and we can take it here. Okay.
especially in certain bigger markets. And it kind of coincides of like, well, they held the Super Bowl here, so maybe we can do a WWE event type here. That's what you see with SoFi. That's what you see with the US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, is where they're holding SummerSlam 2026. Do you see this? I'm curious to know, would this be a trend for the Big Four in general? In a sense, not only WrestleMania but SummerSlam.
Well,
you mean two nights?
2 nights, yes.
I don't know about Big Four, but I think
I could see. You know what though?
Survivor Series at least, I mean, Rumble's already at ball fields, right?
Rumble's already at Rumbles are doing baseball stadiums for the most part, but having them being 2 nights, like having one night be the men's and one night be the women's.
Ooh,
Rumble, yes, I can see.
Okay,
Yeah, Rumble.
I like this.
Rumble.
I like this idea a lot, actually. No, I can see them doing it. That's the other.
I mean,
it's another big brand.
Yeah, because I can see, at least with Rumble, compared to oh gosh, I'm gonna go off in the stadium numbers here. I'll say for example, T-Mobile Park, where we've held Mania here, that held like 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Where that would be easier to maintain, rather for a Rumble, or at least for any Rumble type event, rather than struggling to hold. Oh, actually, that won't be the case. Where we see these huge Mania stadium shows with, I guess SoFi was like 80,000 when we went. Was that right, Sorg? It was about 80,000 a night.
It was about 80,000. That place could hold like 90. I thought it was. So
yeah, it was about 90. Yeah, something like that. So, but it all depends too. Where I can see Rumble being a little bit smaller in stadiums because of the time of the year that it is, compared to your spring and summer ones for Mania and SummerSlam, where you can get those bigger crowds because it will be.
And if they can build up SummerSlam to close to Mania, they'll be able to do northern cities with the outdoor, and they don't have to worry about what they had with the first night in New York or first night in Philly.
No, yeah, New York too. New York sucked.
Yeah.
New York sucked for 29.
Yeah, because it was freezing.
Yeah.
Have it in August. No problem.
You
don't have to. You have to worry about thunderstorms, but you have to worry about
It wasn't terribly warm in LA either, actually. So it was comfortable.
It was like 50, 60.
Yeah, it was weird. You at least you had to see. You had the roof and stuff to keep a little bit in. But man, it was like I definitely underdressed the first night. I'm like, ooh, okay. I'm like, I'm in LA. Let's go t-shirt and shorts. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna buy some t-shirts. But man, having branded WrestleMania blankets came in handy. The couple next to us had one. They were cuddling up with. But anyways, so no, it is very interesting, and this is where, and I loved Corey Graves when they did the announcement on the pay-per-view. I don't know if you caught this, Dave. It was just like, I really wonder if they're going to have it in 25, and I know a really good stadium with 3 rivers next to it, guys. It's great in August in Pittsburgh, guys. Like that kind of thing. So. So I think somebody's campaigning more than knows anything, but it would be great. We are getting the NFL draft here apparently next year, so
I'm just saying, like, we had a mania here. We're gonna have the World Cup here, y'all. We can't have a show here. I'm just saying, we just had the MLB All-Star game just last year,
Hey, give me a reason to go back to Seattle.
right?
You do have a roof over that thing, right? So
We do have a roof over
Well-
T-Mobile Park.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to do SummerSlam, there's also Lumen Field too. I'm just saying.
Plus, as more pay-per-views hit Europe,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
West Coast is really going to get, brunch wrestling.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with brunch wrestling.
Well, I know.
What? Wait, what? Oh, brunch wrestling. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
By the
bad.
way, so real quick, Sorg, we're Pittsburgh's getting the draft in 26.
26. Okay.
26.
Okay. Okay.
Because I know, just because I just double check. Yeah, they say it's going to take a couple of years just to build up stuff, build up infrastructure, work around where they're going to put 700,000 people in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know how the NFL draft works. Like, is this a WrestleMania-sized endeavor? Is that what you're telling me?
Bigger.
This is bigger than WrestleMania.
Detroit had outside. They had this outside in a plaza somewhere. They had 750,000 people. The draft normally has between 600 and 800,000 people in person.
So you're telling me
at the event.
That tracks.
So
That
you're
tracks.
telling me I need to go take a vacation
For
because this
3
town
nights.
is going to be
For
town
3
is going to
days.
be incorrigible.
3 days. 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday during the day, and things building up beforehand. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Pittsburgh's going to be untravelable for 3 days. Gotcha.
Well, not for you. You're right on the subway line.
Yeah, I got a Parkway. Anyways, you know what? Hey, that'll be interesting. And that could be a test.
Yeah.
You know, that could be a thing to WWE. Say, hey, we got this. Don't you think we could get a SummerSlam or a Money in the Bank at their stadium kind of thing?
I don't see it. I don't see it next year with Cleveland having it this year.
No. I don't know.
Too close geographically.
Detroit's only 3 hours up the road from Cleveland. It's getting closer. It's like you went from
But
Detroit,
I'm thinking for SummerSlams they want to spread it out.
they got to spread everything else out. Anyways, we got a lot more to talk about here. But first, I want to give a shout. We have so much locally happening. Holy crap. IndyWrestling.us, our friends at VCW, had a great show this past week. And that will be it's going to be in post-edit. And that'll be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. That'll actually be a freebie, I believe, the 5-Day Friday. And that's crazy because we had like Sam Adonis from AAA on there and a whole bunch of other guys on there. It's a lot of fun at VCW. And they're just getting started about 2 years in there. And, of course, our friends at Prospect Pro Wrestling had Jamie Jamison's birthday bash with new top prospect champion Preston Everest is now on top over there, as well as Chess Flexor, still an Anarchy champion and still weird as hell in those matches. And our friends at RWA, No Retreat just happened. It is the stream is up there on the network right now or on the YouTube if you have the membership, and including Beastman versus Lance Archer. Holy crap. That was a wild show. Also, fun fact, because I realized this because I was catching up with my AEW, and I was watching Collision, and I was like, wait, isn't this last Saturday's Collision? Lance Archer pulled a Rick Rude, you guys. Because Collision was pre-taped, so he was in the main event of Collision in that 6-man tag with the Righteous, and also around the same time was fighting Beastman in West Newton, Pennsylvania, live on Indie Wrestling Network. So there you go, the Rick Rude of RWA, Lance Archer, was a part of that, and they got a lot of great things. Ethan Page is coming in next month for RWA, so that's going to be a lot of fun, and they're just hitting all new champion Colossal Michael Law. still, I watched it. I was doing graphics remotely for that thing, and I still don't understand how that happened. So I've got to go back to the tape, see if you can figure it out, how the 0-3 Mike Law became the freaking champion of the company. Wild stuff happening down there in West Newton. And of course, our 880 wrestling out in, Thursday night fights for the training shows. And of course, the big show every month for Fridays on 5th for New Ken. They just had Pittsburgh versus Brooklyn with the T2T students from up there. That got crazy. There was a street fight that got crazy. The first ever defense of the NWA Exodus Championship with Pretty Boy Smooth was on our broadcast Friday night. The same belt that he's going to be taking to the TV taping for the Back to the Territory show for NWA. Go check that out for free on our YouTube or on the network, so you can get all the music tracks are on the network. So if you want them fully intact, if you want to hear the Wildflowers come out in the entirety to My Chemical Romance's Helena, you can do that on the network. So, and not on the YouTube, unfortunately. So thank you so much for everybody that's involved in subscribing to that, whether it be the membership on YouTube or just watching the free matches over there on the YouTube page. Please like, share, subscribe everywhere that you have IndyWrestling.us, Caffeine.tv, and everything like that. So, actually, I think we are going to take a bit of a break for us here on the live stream. And when we come back, we are going to talk nothing but AEW. Probably something else. I don't know. So we'll be right back after this.
But tonight is going to be hellacious. The Country Hammer, Jamie Jamison. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, hey! Jamie Jamison has him. German. Tell the tale. Oh, leg sweep with the kendo stick. Oh, my. Oh, that was right across the forehead. And no. Oh, my God. Tony. Oh, he's feeling it too. Oh my God. Oh, for your sins, Jack Pollock. Now, has it? Oh, it has him up. DVD. Oh no. How is he doing this? DVD. Son of a. Jamison wins.
May 17th, Jamie. Boy, I'm gonna make you famous.
Oh my God, Jamie Jamison has just seen a ghost.
So Glenn Spector is already on a roll. Major win tonight.
And as I said,
wrestling with a lot of big-time matchup Poke can do. Oh, it's to tie up a calf.
Momentum is such a trademark here.
As Capo
there, how to maximize it.
Okay, Christopher now.
This number, blatant interference in front of the official.
I am restarting the match. Thank you.
Come on.
How is this? From a clothesline. That's another. And Paul take it out. Can't.
Difficult enough.
Oh, wow.
Misdirection from the count.
Oh, now. Ooh, double knees right there. Grabs a hold. Ooh, suplex there. Inspector, there's that running knee strike. Seemingly not done. Gonna put more of a beat down.
They have hit the ring
to even the odds.
I mean, I don't know how the hell this matchup got restarted, but I know one thing for sure.
Introducing first.
I mean, the man knows how to play a Minga accordion. There it is with that new Anarchy title. I thought it was until he crushed it.
Well, that's an accordion no matter what.
That's a Kabasi.
With barbed wire.
Sidewalk slam, Polish style.
Paid the big bucks.
And
there's the cook today. Jesus Christ. We have an oven in the.
Wait. Oh my. Standing up on a podium. And Best Flexer's own toys are being used against him.
And, not on the ice! Not on the ice!
Wait. Those are gloves. The juice is loose here in Worthington. Before you kick me out. Oh, that one. And hits him with the stool. That one, 2, 3, it's over. But here's the he fought his ass off, but it just wasn't enough.
We are back. It's the Wrestling Mayhem Show. Tina was telling me about. We were talking about wrestling scenes on the break, and Tina, you saw something happening in Pittsburgh that you had an interest in.
Yes. So with you guys over there, Enjoy Wrestling, they had just announced a show just a few hours ago. AEW star Lee Moriarty. He will be back at Enjoy, and he will be taking on one of the rising stars. I know with Ashe, and I know he's pretty big up in the Northeast, and Darius Carter. So that will be an interesting show to check out.
I love it. I got to meet Darius at the last Ashe show. I've seen him in action multiple times, but the first time I got to actually have it, awesome dude, great wrestler. If you don't know him, kind of a classic. I want to say bad guy, but kind of yeah. So if you haven't seen a Darius Carter match, go look him up on YouTube. It's definitely worthwhile. And also I give a shout out to our friends of the show, The Runway, are going to take on Dirty Dango and Tyler Breeze. That's going to be amazing. And
Dirty Breeze.
And they're having it at the venue where NXT and Ring of Honor ran next to Screw It Heinz Field. I'm going to say it. So apparently ground zero of the NFL draft, as I just learned. So definitely, I have my tickets. I have refused backstage access to go buy a ticket to this show because I want to be in the crowd for this stuff. I want to, unless there's a real reason for me to be backstage, I am sitting in the audience and the fourth row and going to watch this thing because I will just love this stuff. And I want to see my friends. I want to see my friends shine. And that's awesome. Everything from Enjoy Wrestling to the roster on there that we've known and filmed for years. It's a great platform, and I'm really glad to see it. And it's incredible. I say RWA is the night before that too. That's gonna be. We were talking about multiple shows. That weekend is gonna be that because 2PW's next show is Friday. RWA's on Saturday. You could see Ethan Page twice in that weekend. And there's some other things. Enjoy's not done announcing, and I have a feeling they have a big one coming soon. So these guys are pretty good about spacing out all their cards. So I keep an eye on them. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting show. It already is a very interesting show when it comes to it.
And also quote me if I'm right or wrong, but isn't Eve Surreal the Enjoy champion taking on Sunny Kiss?
I do. Yep. There's a graphic right here.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, and the last match. Yep. That
and
one
also
right there.
steel cage match. David Lawless and Mr. Grimm. Well, you're at the first ever cage match for our friends and Enjoy. So really good stuff going on there. Really good stuff going on with the companies we work with. We're loving this. Looking forward to Exodus Pro, NWA Exodus Pro. Excuse me. I'm going back there here in a couple of weeks. Bubba Brewer's doing a crazy show out in Indiana, PA. That's going to have EC3 out there. I got to catch up with him Saturday night to talk about that in advance. Actually, we can talk about Bubba Brewer will be joining us here in 3 weeks, leading into that show on that Tuesday. Next week we have Megan Nelson from Rise Wrestling is going to be joining us, and the week after that, referee Rosie Jones is going to be joining us. You may have seen her. I know she was here locally with 880 Wrestling. I think she's been doing Enjoy, but she's been AIW. Mm-hmm. She did Neo Pro's first ever women's championship match that our friend of the show Megan Myers won. So she's been getting all around, traveling all around, doing some really big shows and doing very, very well. So I thought it was a high time for us to get her in and catch up with her, see what's up with her, because she's only a couple years, I think, in the business as far as things go. So always want to see, again, kind of put the shine on everybody and everything. So speaking of things lighten up, let's talk about AEW's Double or Nothing.
And before we go in, because now, and I think Tina will agree with me that there are different ways to do wrestling shows.
Yes.
No, what I'm saying, and they're not, one side isn't good, one side isn't bad.
No.
They're just different. And because the tribalism is stupid. Okay, the tribalism is stupid. Because there are, like, if you do not like what's happening in AEW, fine. Unless someone asks your opinion directly, hey, what do you think about this? You don't have to, if you see someone post something about, oh, that's stupid. But we almost see the two opposites, where WWE has a 5-match show, a very compact thing going on, and AEW is like, oh, we're going to give you all the matches.
We're going to give you all the matches.
You're all wearing everyone here in the arena here is wearing diapers, right? Because we're going to give you don't want to get up and miss any of these matches. And by the way, you're going to be here for 6 to 7 hours.
And nothing was a go get popcorn match.
No,
nothing was a popcorn match.
No.
Nothing. They're like, my God. The AEW just likes hitting you over the head with the next thing. They want to make sure you're getting your $50 worth on those things, and they do. I think for the most part. You started with Will Ospreay. The pre-show was good. Just there was so much happening there that's going to play out here going into the Forbidden Door next month. MJF is back.
Yeah, nobody knew about that. Not until like very last minute. I think, who is it? I want to say Fightful. Oh gosh, I'm going to quote me on this. They had they just received something that says, hey, you're going to watch the beginning of the show. There's going to be something good that's happening there, but you're going to watch it and see what happens. And so it's good. It was good. That spot was great. I want to say classic MJF, but you also like the cheeky little nod too.
I was going to say, should we just rename him for this show for MJHHH?
Triple H.
With that outfit?
With
that outfit?
Oh, the Triple H cosplay is back, baby. I mean, listen, and people are like, oh, I shouldn't be acknowledging and stuff. Like, listen, man, we're all wrestling fans. They're all wrestling fans. The nods are nice.
The nods, the little cheeky nod, tongue-in-cheek nods are nice. Come on, you got to admit that. And if you're butthurt about like little cheeky nods about that, then why? You're just looking for something to hate. I'm sorry.
I love it. I mean, you cannot like it, but again, there's another channel. So
is anyone else getting a tattoo?
Listen, I have suspicions about the tattoo. We're just like, we're sitting there, we're watching with the wrestler. I'm just like, wait a minute. You're never going to have to see that tattoo again. He's going to wear boots.
Down the ankle.
It's on the back of the ankle. You're wearing wrestling boots. You never have to see that tattoo again. And hopefully we all forget about it before this guy does, some other movie role.
Tattoo.
Yeah. So, but still. I'm sure there will be some kind of disclaimer somewhere down the line about how it's not a fake tattoo or something. But no, yeah, you did the bet on yourself AEW ship one. I thought it was a very fun promo. It was very, very MJF. MJF was something missing on the show, and now he gets to be in there with an Okada and an Ospreay and whoever else, right?
And
like
a Swerve and
gosh. Yeah, Swerve and his on top and everything. Man, this is gonna be so good. So, and they're AEW is a prime buzz machine. They know how to do it. They know how to get everybody's attention. Like
so, you were mentioning the buy-in and the pre-show. There was an announcement made on the buy-in about the Owen Hart tournament. Something that we've been clamoring for from the get-go. I don't. But they're actually going to do it this time around. I think it's because it's 25 years, correct? In regards to that. Or did I mishear that?
Are we talking about the championship
Opportunity?
Opportunity?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the men's and women's winners of the Owen Hart tournament will be getting championship matches at All In Wembley.
Now, do they say which championship?
The men and women's world.
They said world. They said world.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
They said world.
Well, no, I can see on the women's side, not necessarily on the men's side, but on the women's side with who your champions are. That is not an A, B, like a WWE Intercontinental World Championship US, Swerve, and then whatever the second title is, take your pick from various men's secondary titles in AEW right now. The TPS Championship and the Women's World Championship, given who has them, are
Currently,
equal
right.
in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're equal.
And actually, also, you were speaking about the men's right off the bat. At the media scrum, Will Ospreay says, even though I'm the international champion, I'll throw my hat into that tournament to get a shot at the world title.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. All right. Also, the idea that both Okada and Ospreay already have championships in AEW, great, good. Both those guys need to be walking around with gold. You know what I mean? So, and that's going to make things really.
Also,
fun.
do you think maybe they learned from 2019?
What about 19?
Well, remember when they first started, they were like, well, we don't want to give the EVPs titles because we don't want to think we're booking just for ourselves. So Kenny wasn't given a title at first. The Bucks weren't given the title at first, and then all of a sudden they were given titles later down the road instead of coming up and saying, by the way, we are the hot things. Here's the hottest people right now.
Sure.
It's like we're not going to wait.
If you're not using your hottest properties going into AEW, as a thing, obviously, I think it sounded like Cody had issues managing being a talent versus being, the backstage person.
Yeah.
And I think the Bucks probably they've talked about in places about getting some burnout from all the responsibility. It's kind of hard to be, but now I feel like they're venting that a little bit. So, and whenever the Bucks do pop up and end up with belts, usually it's been a pretty good story. Them and FTR, the 6-man best of 7.
The best of 7 last year with Death Triangle and the Elite with Kenny.
Yeah. And you can argue whether they were good things when they were pulled off, but at least like on paper, they're like, we think we can do, again, like not everything's going to fly, but when you're wrestling, like, I think we could pull off something cool if we did this, right? And stuff like that. So, that's, and also like, when you talk about like Anarchy and Rhea, who's usually in it? Usually EVPs are a part of it, right? Because they're like, well, yeah, we're going to do the dumb shit. It's our company. We're going to do the dumb shit. So like, calculated risk, of course, but still like, that they're not making anybody do anything that they're not going to do, whether it be an exploding super kick or chair or light Jack Perry on fire.
Thumbtacks.
Yeah, thumbtack the shoes or the Rainmaker with the thumbtacks. Oh, let's talk about
Rainmaker.
this.
Yes.
Oh my God, this man! I love first of all, and I can hear the screaming from the production truck during every one of these matches that they do for Anarchy and Arena. It is a mess. There's no way to coordinate it to a certain point. When they had the fighting music, which is, we were trying to remember because like, well, what happened last year? It's like, that's right. Moxley came out to a live band that kept playing. And I was in the arena and I was like, oh my God, they're still going. Are they supposed to be going? And then like finally, didn't they like super kick the singer or something eventually? And then we had the battling music. The greatest song in the world. Shut that off. It tosses $120,000 every time we play it. Man, that play, and that's memorable and that's fun and I love it. And then of course we had Jack Perry. And again, if you're like, okay, that was a stupid thing, Jack Perry has done this before. There's video surfacing of him doing this, and so it looks like behind the scenes, look like some kind of video or movie they were shooting, perhaps. So he is familiar with this trick, much like Darby is familiar with all the crazy stuff that he does, right? By the way, when I saw the flamethrower, I loved the next day it came out. Tony Khan's on a call where they said, "Don't you need a permit for a flamethrower?" And Tony says, "Yes, you do." And luckily, Darby has one. Because of course he does. Also, my favorite line going into the show was Darby Allin, who got Final Destination a couple weeks ago. Referencing getting hit by the bus, which Darby Allin, he'll just survive anything at this point. But
if somebody, like, he's got how many lives?
I know, seriously. It was so much fun. It was crazy. It was stupid. It's the stupid in wrestling I love to watch, to be quite honest. So like that is, that it hit all the points for me. There's some concern.
And honestly, the other thing I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The other thing I like about the anarchy in the in the arena is it didn't involve a title.
Nope.
So you kept your titles with your matches and your regular stuff.
Yeah.
And your crazy stuff is your crazy stuff. So it didn't overlap, which I know a lot of people have problems with Timeless Tony with doing the kind of the in character stuff during a championship match. And
really, people have problems with that.
Some people do when she goes a little overboard.
Yeah.
Especially, I think there was a lot bigger issues before she was champion. When like directing the time for commercial advertisement, and now a word from our sponsors type thing, and you're like, okay, you're supposed to be world champion material, and yet you're, being not the, which I don't know. I
don't see the problem here.
But
I don't see the problem here.
Either.
It's pro wrestling, baby. I don't see a problem here.
Yeah.
Don't see a problem with it. She's it can be over the top on occasion, but she backs it up in the ring, tells a story, compelling story in the ring. That's the thing. Like you can have an over the top character and can't do shit and can't tell a story for shit, but Tony can do it. Tony can have that character and back that shit up in the ring. I don't care. I don't give a flying fuck. Really.
MJF talks too much month to month, but man, he backs it up in the ring on the pay-per-view, right? Yeah. So I have no problem with it. So I understand why people might. They're like, oh, it's hokey, and One Night Wrestling is this.
But as I talked about earlier, if you don't like it, fine.
But also, isn't
it's
it
not
a great
for
you?
It's not for you. Yeah, not everything is for you.
You have a place that says that we are a fan of the sport of wrestling and presenting it in a sport style. So then, if you have this one character that believes she's in a black and white movie all the time, and then we see that in the fourth wall, like that. I feel like if you do that in WWE, it's just another character. You do that in AEW, it sticks out more. It has more weight to it, right? So I think that's very calculated there. We can have fun with this. We have an Orange Cassidy. We have somebody that just escaped me that's like this, and I think like New Japan. New Japan's king of sport, but then you have Yano doing crazy Yano things, right? So like that, like it's fun to have that juxtaposition in that kind of environment. So. But yeah, same people at this came up too. Alex in California is talking about how do you have the same 8 people in a War Games match? So blood and guts. And then we're kind of like, oh, does this lead to a blood and guts or something? Now I think we break off into feuds, for the belts. I honestly I think this kind of leads into multiple belt matches at All In. Is my perspective on things. We're only a couple months away from. Oh God, we're less than 2 months. We're roughly 2 months away from that, probably, right? Maybe a pay-per-view or two. So
about 3. Late August,
mid to late August-ish.
August 25th is All In.
25th, okay. So like that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, so that is, I mean, so and we have Forbidden Door. I don't think we have a June pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. So
July, you mean?
Yeah, July. That's right. I'm sorry. I was reading this message. Is there more breaking news from NXT?
There is, yes, from an anonymous source.
Oh no!
From an anonymous source.
That
what has been fact checked, even though I trust the anonymous source, but I
All
always
right,
like
I'm pulling off of you so we don't reveal the anonymous source here.
Yes,
because the chat keeps popping up on the middle of the screen.
But Ethan Page showed up in NXT.
Oh shit! Let's see if he can honor his commitments and shoot. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Okay, all right. Good for him. Maybe bad for Pittsburgh because there's at least two. Yeah.
Portland.
Anywho.
Well, we don't know if this is a one-off. Remember?
That is true.
Years ago, James Storm did a one-off in NXT that they thought he was going to sign. He didn't. He just did a short little one or two. He was on the show twice, and that's it. So we don't know. And yeah, so yeah, he just all of a sudden popped up. All of a sudden.
What was I saying? Oh, I'm confused. I'm confused. Yeah. RWA is the one Pittsburgh having that weekend and everything. So, yeah. Okay, we'll find out what's happening there. Because it says AEW star Ethan Page on the poster. So, we'll see what happens. But anyways, excuse me, I misspoke earlier.
But
I'm confusing my weekends. I'm confusing my shows. Anywho,
which given how many we have, it's not that hard to do,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So, anywho, jeez. So AEW. Sorry, I'm clamoring for that one.
Yeah.
So Ethan Page is in NXT. Has all these bookings that Tina's looking
also
forward to.
With Jordan Grace, yes. And so is Jordan Grace, yes.
What is happening? What is going on?
But yeah, I mean, it's fun.
It's Forbidden Door season.
Yeah, but it's fun. Wrestling. When they say wrestling is hot, wrestling is fun and hot. I mean, no one. There was no, as far as I know, there were no spoilers about either of them.
Nope, not a single one.
And so this is the fun part. This is and like we said, when people were let go from WWE, at least there's other places for them to go now.
Absolutely.
It's fun to have that unexpected surprise again.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, if you don't pay attention, I don't want to be that person, but I'm going to go ahead and be that person. If you don't pay attention to the sheets a lot of the time, that paywall shit, I'm not knocking them. But this keeps it unexpected, you know?
Yeah. Tina, I think I opened WrestlingInc.com today for the first time in about 2 months. And I've been so happy to not do it. I have not been like, oh, the rumor is this and this when you guys bring them up on the show. I have no idea, and I'm just watching wrestling, and I don't care. You know, I don't want. You know,
and it's good to have that sometimes.
Yeah,
it's great to have that time.
There was something.
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was about to say, if we want to talk about like just briefly, what could be happening after June 1st, we don't know.
That's true.
But that's
that. Oh God, that would be a story.
Wait, what? Wait, what's happening on June 1st? I don't know what's happening. I don't read the sheets.
Go ahead, Tina.
Becky's current contract expires. Okay. Now with that being said, we had that same sort of surprise with somebody who was on the Double or Nothing card. And that was with Adam Copeland.
Yes.
But who is going to be out with an injury for like a few months now due to the barbed wire cage match.
She's not going anywhere. There's no way she's going anywhere.
No, she's not.
She's not.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
No, we know that.
We know she isn't also because unlike Adam Copeland, who was not married to an active wrestler, I don't think Becky would. I mean, admittedly, if Tony Khan threw, we're going to pay you $10 million a year for 2 years. I know you're 37. I know you got a small kid, but here's $10 million a year for 2 years to get you a run against some of our AEW women. You know, but what kind of problem would that cause with Seth and his own run?
That is true.
Yep.
That's kind of the difference. Yeah.
Yes, but getting back to a person who kind of made that similar move, Adam Copeland, he is out with the fractured tibia. So he's going to be out for quite a few months in regards to that.
Oof. Curious what they're going to do with the TNT belt at that point. But hell of a match. Also, Gangrel comes back.
Right.
And somebody was saying while the match was starting, they're like, "Oh yeah, I heard that Gangrel was supposed to be a part of like his Brood phase in WWE, but it got turned down." So, of course, we freaking did it. I'm surprised he got away with using the Brood. They must have let that copyright lapse. But that was much fun.
As they did with Rated R Superstar.
Yeah,
I will not confirm nor deny that 15 to 16-year-old Tina squealed when she saw that.
Yes. No, it was good. It was good.
Well, let me ask you something. A broken tibia. This is not
fractured.
It's fractured.
Mhm.
It's still. He's going to have to give up the championship.
Yeah,
obviously, because I think if it's not similar or not the same injury that Eddie.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And Eddie
I can't speak today.
No. Yeah, Eddie Kingston's out. He'll be out for 9 months.
9 months with a similar type of injury.
Eddie's
right?
Eddie's a decent amount younger than Adam, right?
I'm gonna say about. Let's see. Hold on here. Let me do the math. Eddie's about my age. So he's probably about 8 to 10 years younger than Edge.
Okay. Yeah, big difference. Well, I'm saying in terms of recovery.
Recovery I think will be about the same amount, and somewhere between 9 months or so. Yeah.
But there's a difference between someone in their early 40s recovering
compared
versus
to their early
50s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's being human, even though he may not believe he's human. You know, maybe he brought into the whole Viking thing. You know, it's like, and with the thickened liquid that came down on Malachi on the show before the pay-per-view. Feel sorry for the stage for the cleanup crew there, but
yep. Well,
but yeah. So I mean, do we see
I think we have to see like a tournament of some sort.
A tournament, but we're also going to have the Owen tournament.
That is true too.
So
and the finals are going to be for that.
They'll just have a battle. They'll just have a battle royal for it.
You think it's a battle royal?
Hey, we did it for the
they're already
women's
having
title.
a battle royal for the number one contender for Forbidden Door.
They'll figure something out. Well, they'll figure something out. Maybe they'll have a match between the last 2 champions or last 2 challengers or something like that. You know, that'd be Christian and Aleister Black, right? So
yeah,
major ones. At least.
Can we merge a belt?
No.
I don't think they can get rid of the TNT championship, so I think they're contractually obligated to have a TNT championship for the time being. Yeah. So either way, on that note, guys, I want to give a quick shout here before we find out what we learned this week from our friends Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, New York City style, Yinzer, Maine. Way more locations than I have on the screen right now. So many. Go check them out. SliceOnBroadway.com. Thank you for supporting the show. And it'll be very handy as we are having guests in studio at least the next 2 weeks to be supporting them, so they're not getting hangry in the middle of the show. Time to find out. Chat room, hit me up too. What did you learn from wrestling this week? Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go a couple things. First, even though we all saw it coming, okay, seeing Willow lose her belt and lose her friend on the same night. No, that
heartbreaking.
Hurt, yeah.
It
tugged on the heartstrings.
Also,
she had the same reaction as Dom.
Yes.
She had the same reaction as Dom.
And I know, you know, characters are characters, but still seeing Willow swear. That seems like, and that gives it more impact.
Yes.
But you know, just the, you know, you see she's smiling, she's happy, and you said, like, you said that word. You, huh? The other thing I learned, and this is local wrestling related, is that in a, if you will, intergender miniature golf match Pulling out the victory at the last minute was Mikey Montgomery over Ziggy Hine.
I heard about this. Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff.
She had the lead until the last hole, and he beat her right out of it, and he was apparently gloating.
Is it as glorious as my last hole-in-one miraculousness from the Pirate Golf in Florida a couple months ago? Because that still was astonishing to me. From the chat room, Mad One learned that watching Raw, you need to pay attention to the background. Liv has been planting seeds for weeks. You've been really good at that for the last few months. Alex Miller on Cali learned that don't hit a man with a bus. He might come back as a zombie with a flamethrower. Huh.
Yep.
Huh. And I learned Ethan Page will pop up anywhere and everywhere, apparently, as Brandon's reminding us, because I think Brandon just popped in. Yeah, we talked about Ethan Page a little bit. So, and he's supposed to be coming to Pittsburgh for a show with RWA. So I don't know what's happening with that now. Hope he gets to honor his commitments.
And I mean, the fact that he attacked Trick Williams, the NXT champion.
That's pretty big. When's this battleground show?
He didn't bring him. They didn't bring him in like they did Alexis King, and fight a bunch of lower card like in a breakout tournament. They did him right after the champ.
That show. Hold on a second. When is that show? Why is it not in here? June 9th. Okay. So, will Ethan Page show up at RWA in Pittsburgh the week after being on pay-per-view potentially on Battleground Las Vegas on June 9th? I'm curious about this. So, yeah. Cool. All right. Tina, what'd you learn?
I've learned a couple of things. It costs about $200,000 to play It's the Final Countdown. And AEW's on a budget, as the EVPs reminded us about that. And then if you need a little confidence or ego boost, just start doing the CEO dance, as shown by Mercedes and Will Ospreay over the weekend.
Did they do it in the thing in the press conference or something?
Will did it in the media. They both did it in the media scrum, and then there's some backstage footage where Mercedes was teaching the dance a little bit. That's too amazing. That was funny.
I love
it. And he actually did it a couple weeks back for his birthday too. So that was hilarious. It's wild to see.
Will Ospreay's joy of wrestling is so infectious.
The glee in his face when it comes to the promos is just amazing.
I've never seen him unhappy at an indie show either. He was just like the Warrior. It was just those people that kind of glow up a show. Like that was him.
So my sister got to watch Double or Nothing over this past weekend. She's not really in tune. She's behind on AEW, but she finally got to first experience Will Ospreay in this match, and she's like, I want to go see them. I want to go see him live somehow. And I was like, well, we got Wrestle Dream coming up, so there's that. So so he's got it's cool to see how his style is getting branched out more into the States now with this exposure with AEW.
Good. I love it. Good stuff here. Does Ethan have his own wrestling show that he runs? Does he have
he runs Alpha One Wrestling out in the Hamilton, Ontario area.
Okay.
And I know they have a show coming up here. I want to say July.
Now, so I think the concern is it with WWE, can you still do that? There are people that still do their own training schools and things, which is going to involve shows. So I think as long as he's got good support staff, he should be good to go. Because
like I said, we don't know exactly what the status is of Ethan Page would be. I mean, hell, Jordan Grace is on there, and she's the current TNA Knockouts champion.
I think we're back to a phase. I think NXT is getting back to that phase. That phase when Kevin Owens came in and Finn came in, and all these.
Mickey James came in for Asuka 1 year.
So I think that's. I'm looking at the card, because I'm not up with this. I'm seeing Gallows and Anderson are on this card. Is that Shayna Baszler's on this card? You know, like they're really mixing it up here. And there's somebody else I saw that. Oh, Mia Yim's a part of this too. So like there's a lot of mixing to get that interest up, especially since they just called up a bunch of people, right? So they need to kind of flesh this out a little bit. But it doesn't feel like pandering like it used to be, right?
I think in this case, it's not so much pandering, but also at the same time too, it's getting those newer stars ready for the main roster call-ups.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, hell, what was it? Not too long ago, we had Lyra Valkyria against Becky Lynch and beat Becky for the NXT Women's title.
Yep.
So same thing with Tiffany Stratton. New Day given, I want to say, was it Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Champions? Exposure like that. So it's just like mixing in the main roster to get that new NXT roster some experience.
I like it. Fantastic. Well, on that note, Tina Keys, thank you so much for joining us. Are you sticking around for the Patreon? I guess it's early for you. I mean, it's like breakfast or something there.
Hey, brunch. I'm just saying, brunch wrestling. You should try it sometime. It's amazing. But yes, I'll stick around.
We did. What show was it? France? That was early for us. I feel like we had a boring WWE show recently.
You guys pretty much have afternoon shows.
Yeah, Saudi.
Both France and Saudi was afternoon shows for you guys. No, it was Elimination Chamber. That was morning.
Australia.
Yes, Australia.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right. Oh, I had to try Elimination Chamber. Was in Australia. Okay. All right. Now that'll be. Yeah. Are we going back to Australia? We have to be. Is it on the? No.
Probably.
Was that this year? That was this year. Okay.
That was in February.
Anyways, Elimination Chamber became the big travel show. Holy shit. So, get that thing on a boat. Dave Podnar, thank you for joining us as well. Longtime contributor of the show as well.
Thanks so much, Sorg. Always glad to be here.
And, of course, again, next week we're our guests in the next few weeks. Megan Nelson will be joining us, Rosie the Ref, and Bubba Brewer in the next 3 weeks. And we are talking with at least one threesome. That sounds weird. And I'm hoping I'm working on a big get to the point where I might have to reach out to somebody's HR department. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, you know what? It's a good thing when you reach out to friends of the show and they say, I'd love to be on, but you have to reach out to HR. Like, usually I just say, well, this isn't happening, and I walk away. This time, I want my friends to be back on the show. And we have a lot of friends that are behind an HR department paywall right now, and paywall, or at least an email wall. And we'll see how that goes. I don't even want to talk about their promotion. I want to talk about something they're doing locally. So, anyways, thank you so much. Stay tuned. Patreon. We are returning with the Patreon after talk as well. Mayhem After Dark. I can't remember what we called it. I'll figure it out later when I do the show notes. Thank you guys so much. You have been. No, that's a different podcast. Oh. Mayhem out, I guess.
Wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.